Hi, Tracy Baker here for Baker Gets Cooking, and today's show we are going to make a really great old-fashioned cookie called Jam Jam. Now, I've been eating this cookie all of my life. I think the original recipe came from my grandma's friend who is her neighbor from the farm, so it's been around for generations and generations. Now, it takes a little bit of time because it's a rolled out cookie, but they freeze excellent, so you can make a large batch and have it in your freezer for when you need to pull it out. So I'm making these because we're having a family reunion soon, so the cookies are going to be our dessert. And I love having cookies for dessert because you can eat them out of hand, people can still visit while they're eating their dessert, the kids don't make a mess, you don't need a fork or a plate, you just kind of grab and go. So I think it's great. It's a great thing to serve as dessert when you're trying to feed a large crowd. So as with every cookie recipe, you have to start out with the butter and the sugar. So in this mixer I have 2 cups of butter and 2 cups of brown sugar. And we're going to start by creaming that. So it's important when you're creaming to be patient. It takes a few minutes for the butter and the sugar to become incorporated. You must use room temperature butter, and it needs to be mixed for a couple of minutes. Now you'll know that you're done creaming when the color changes. So it'll start out a darker color and then it'll lighten to a creamy color, hence the name. So next into the bowl go eggs. So I have 4 eggs here, or 2 eggs in the single batch. And that goes in there. And we're going to just blend that up. Now, if you use very cold eggs, like right out of your fridge, sometimes it can make the butter sugar mixture look almost curdled. And it's just because the coldness of the eggs is changing the temperature of the butter. And it looks curdled. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Your end product will be the same. It'll all come to the same temperature eventually, and it'll be good. So next we need to add our vanilla. So this is pure vanilla extract. Please buy good vanilla. It makes a huge difference. This is Kirkland brand from Costco, and I think it's a really good product. So I'm just going to measure with my cap a couple of teaspoons. And then I think this is kind of the secret ingredient, and it makes this cookie taste extra butterscotchy, and it keeps it nice and soft. And it is corn syrup. So this is golden corn syrup, and it gets added to the mixture right now. So in a single batch you need to add 6 tablespoons of corn syrup. So before I put the corn syrup in this measuring cup, I sprayed it with a little bit of cooking spray, and that makes it so that it just slides out and doesn't get stuck to the side, so I can get every drop of corn syrup in there. And that technique will work with anything that's sticky, like honey or molasses or anything like that. So it's a good tip, I think. Okay, and we're going to mix that up, and then we're going to add the dry ingredients after that. So we'll mix up. Okay, next dry ingredients. So there's going to be about 6 cups of flour that is going to go in here, so a single batch would be about 3 cups. And it's going to be a fairly stiff dough because we're going to have to roll it out. And then the leavener is a little bit of baking soda. So I'm going to put a little flour in first, and then I'm going to put the baking soda on top of the flour. Now, Martha Stewart would probably tell you that you have to sift the flour and you have to incorporate the baking soda in the flour, but I just put it all in the bowl and it all works out. So on low, I'm going to mix that now. Okay, so it kind of comes together in one big ball, and if you have the time, it's good to let this dough sit in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to an hour. It just helps the flour to absorb all of the liquid ingredients, and it will roll out easier. You can roll it out now. You might need to add a little bit more flour because it's warmer in temperature to not to stick to your bench. It also can be wrapped in the refrigerator and left there for, a few days. If you want to do a little bit at a time, you can do that for sure. It also can be frozen at this state too, and then rethawed and rolled out then. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator and chill it for a few minutes, and then we'll be back and I'll show you the next step. My dough's been sitting in the fridge for about an hour or so, and it's nice and firm, and the flour's been absorbed, and it's all looking very nice. So I'm going to roll them out and cut them now. So I'm going to generously flour my board because it's a very soft dough, so you're going to need a little bit of flour to roll it out with. And just be patient, and it will come together. So I'm going to roll this out fairly thinly because they're 2 cookies that are put together with a layer of jam. You need to do them thin so that they don't make such a huge cookie when they're put together. So I'm going to roll it out so that it's about, 1/4 to 1/8 inch thick. I have just a circular cookie cutter. And I usually only make these cookies at Christmas time, but because our family reunion that I'm making them for is Christmas in July, I'm going to make them with a Christmas theme. So I have a little star. So you want to cut circles like so, and then half of the circles you're going to put a little star or a circle or whatever. Just cut out the middle of the cookie, and that's going to be your top cookie so that you can see the layer of jam through the top cookie. It looks really pretty. It's game day for us today, so that's why I'm wearing my football jersey. So I have to have these cookies baked before kickoff. No pressure. So we'll just cut. My oven is preheating to 350, and I'm going to bake them for about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. I don't want them really brown. These cookies will be crispy for a day, and then when they sit in a covered container, they soften up. So I'm just going to go all the way around the periphery, and then we'll do the center. Okay, so then with a spatula, you just lift the cookies off of the bench and onto a cookie sheet. Okay, so there you go. Hopefully you can see that. So each top cookie with the star cutout has a bottom cookie to match it so that they'll all be equal. So these are going to go in the oven, 350 degrees for about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. And we'll be back when they're done. My cookies are all baked. So after taking them out of the oven after the 8 minutes, you need to let them sit on that hot pan for about 5 minutes just to cool off a little bit. And then put them onto a cooling rack. Or what I do when I have very large volumes is lay out clean tea towels, and then I put the cookies on the tea towels to cool. So the next step in making the jams is to put the jam in it. And today I'm going to use raspberry freezer jam. So I made this jam last summer, and it's freezer jam, so it's not cooked, so it tastes very, very raspberry-y, and it's very good. You can use any kind of red jam or jelly. Use the best quality that you can find. If you can find homemade, I would use homemade. I really like these with choke cherry jelly. Now, choke cherries, I don't know if they grow everywhere, if they're just where we're from. But they grow everywhere in the prairies in Canada. And they're an indigenous cherry. You can't really eat them as fruit. They're too bitter, but they make awesome jelly. I don't have any left, so I've got to go make some this summer. Maybe we'll do a segment on choke cherry jelly. That's a cooked jelly, so that's kind of a different technique than the freezer jam. At any rate, you just use whatever jam or jelly that you like, and they look beautiful. So you just take maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon on the bottom of a unstarred round, and just kind of almost to the edges but not quite, and then just a star top and squish it down. And there's your jam. Store them in a covered container. They're better the next day. They'll be nice and soft, and the jam will have soaked into the cookie a little bit. They freeze really well. They don't last very long in my house. They're a perennial favorite, and the people that are at my family reunion will be enjoying these, and I hope this works for you. Hope you try the recipe. The recipe will be my blog. The link will be underneath the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, comment, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.